Okay, let's add another one. Vertical angles. Vertical angles are two angles formed by two intersecting lines. They look like an X. They are always congruent and they have the same angle measure. Okay, so take a look. Here's the X. You can see the X. So this angle and its opposite angle are congruent. If this one measures 40, then this one measures 40. Then you can look at the other angles. If you look at this angle, the angle opposite that is congruent. If this measures 140, then its opposite angle measures 140. That only works for vertical angles. They have to look like an X. They're crossing to where they look like an X. Here's some other examples right here. Which angle do you think is opposite the 65 degrees? Do you think it's the X or the Y? It is the Y. So Y and 65 are congruent. They measure the same. Therefore, the angle opposite 115 is the X. So the X goes with 115. So let's try some. All right, we know the measure of this angle. We want to find the measure of 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Let's go ahead and start. I see an X. Do you see an X? It could be a wide X, it could be a skinny X, it could be an X rotated, but if it looks like an X, you have vertical angles. That's where the opposite angles are the same. So that means angle 10 and angle 12 are going to be the same. They're opposite, they're going to be congruent. And angle 11 and the 65 degree angle, they are congruent. They're opposite, so they're going to measure the same degree. Since this one was 65 degrees, that means 11 is also going to be 65 degrees. But now I need to find 10 and 12, and I don't know the measure of either one of those. So I'm going to have to think about something different. If I'm looking at 10, I can see that 10 is adjacent to 11, or 10 is adjacent to the 65 degrees, whichever way you want to look at it. And I know if I combine them together, the two angles together, it makes a straight angle that measures 180 degrees. So if this one is if 11 is 65, then all I have to do is subtract that from 180. And I get 115 degrees. So 10 is going to measure 115 degrees, which means its opposite angle, 12, is also going to measure 115 degrees. I think these are so fun to do. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and I want you to work this one yourself. I want you to find what the measure of angles 7, 8, and 9 each are. When you have your answers, come back and check your work. Okay, let's see how you did. This 80, I have two rays that intersect, they form an X, so I have vertical angles. The 80 degrees, angle 8 is opposite the 80 degree angle. Because they're opposite angles, they're congruent, so that means that angle 8 measures 80 degrees. Okay, 7 and 9, I don't know their measures. So I'm going to have to look. I can see that 9 is adjacent to this 80 degree angle, or you could even say that 9 is adjacent to this angle number 8, either way. Because they're adjacent, I'd look to see what type of angle they form, and they form supplementary, and so that S, if I use my shortcut, the S turns into an 8 for 180. So I can subtract the 80 degrees from 180. That means that 9 measures 100 degrees. And its opposite angle, which is 7, also measures 100 degrees. So how'd you do? Let's keep on going. That was pretty easy. Let's try some more. Okay, here we go. We're going to try these. We want to find the measure of angle 16. Well, take a look at what you have. What happens to this angle 16 and this 30 degree angle? What kind of angle do they make? They make a right angle, don't they? These are complementary. And there's that C. Here's the C for complementary. And we add a line and it turns into a 9 for 90. So if this one's 38 degrees, all we have to do is measure it from 90. And we get 52 degrees. So 16 equals 52 degrees. You might also notice that these two angles along with this angle are supplementary. They add up to 180. They make that straight line. They add up to 180 degrees. So you could have also taken 90 for this right angle plus 38 and subtracted it from 180, but that's a little bit extra work. Okay, pause the video, work the next example on your own. You need to find the measure of angle 17 and the measure of angle 18. Come back when you have your answers. Okay, this one wasn't too bad. Looking at angle 18, you can tell that it is a right angle because you have perpendicular lines, so it measures 90 degrees. Then looking at the 67-degree angle and the 13, you can tell that it also is a right angle. So it too measures 90 degrees. So these two angles are complementary. And I can subtract the 67 from the 90 and see that angle 17 is 23 degrees. Okay, wow. They just keep getting more and more and more, right? Okay, this one's not too difficult, so go ahead and try this one on your own. Come back and check your answer. Okay, did you get that angle 19 measures 36 degrees? Good job. So this is a little bit different. You still have a right angle here, and it's being divided into 3 angles. They're still all going to total 90 degrees. So you add the two that you know, the 30 plus 24, and you get 54. Just subtract that from 90, and angle 19 is 36 degrees. Now let's do the next one together. Like I said, I think these are fun to do. Okay, I can see that I have a right angle. Now, can you tell that you also have vertical angles? That wasn't very good, sorry about that. That you also have vertical angles? Because I see an X. Do you see an X? That means angle 20 and angle 22 are congruent. They're equal because they're vertical angles. Okay, well, I don't know either one of those yet. So let me come over here. I know this is 120. What happens when I put the 120 degree angle together with angle 22? What does it make? It makes a straight line, right? And a straight lines measure 180. So 180 minus 120 is going to tell me that angle 22 equals 60 degrees. If angle 22 equals 60 degrees, that means that angle 20 is also 60 degrees. And if you look here, you can tell this is a right angle, that this ray right here is perpendicular to this ray, which means this one is also a right angle, and right angles measure 90 degrees. We've cut this right angle into 2 angles. One is 60, which means the other has to be 30 degrees, because 60 plus 30 equals 90. Do you see how fun this is? All right, good luck with your homework.